In the summer of 2002, South Korea co-hosted the FIFA World Cup. The event drew hundreds of thousands of international fans, creating an immediate and overwhelming spike in high-volume tourism demand. The regional infrastructure lacked the capacity for this influx. Standard commercial hospitality sectors, hotels, hostels, and guest houses rapidly hit absolute limits, leaving local governments to manage a severe accommodation deficit. This massive logistical pressure forced authorities to abandon traditional zoning. They had to look outside commercial centers for existing structures capable of housing thousands of visitors on short notice. Authorities initiated an emergency response measure, integrating South Korea's network of ancient Buddhist monastic sites directly into the national tourism framework as a temporary solution. Surveying these remote heritage sites for massive crowds presented immediate operational hurdles. Planners had to quickly assess sanitation, space, and structural safety without disrupting the daily practices of the resident monks. What was intended as a desperate logistical band-aid inadvertently laid the exact architectural groundwork for the modern wellness tourism industry. Planners selected mountain monasteries built 1,700 years ago. These hidden, low-frequency geographic environments sat completely isolated from any urban centers. Visitors transitioned directly from the chaotic, high-decibel energy of international sporting arenas into ancient sanctuaries defined by profound quiet. This emergency intervention accidentally revealed a sustainable path for regional development. It tapped directly into a latent global demand for environments that offered stillness rather than constant stimulation. The initial administrative priority was sheer volume. Authorities focused strictly on rapid capacity scaling to ensure every international visitor had a place to sleep. Converting austere monastic infrastructure into temporary lodging overnight required intense improvisation. Monks and administrators worked together to repurpose minimalist communal spaces for laypeople. The sheer volume of incoming tourists forced a direct collision between two highly incompatible worlds: the consumption-driven expectations of mass international travel and the disciplined reality of ascetic isolation. Arriving visitors anticipated the standard comforts of commercial lodging. Instead, they faced the raw architectural austerity of monastic living standards. The conditions introduced to these visitors were uncompromising. Participants had to adapt to communal dining in absolute silence and minimalistic sleeping facilities consisting only of thin floor mats. The total absence of modern amenities created an environment primed for either mass complaints or a massive psychological pivot. Academic analysis later revealed a striking anomaly. The data showed exceptionally high levels of visitor satisfaction, completely contradicting the expectation that tourists require luxury amenities to enjoy a stay. The data identified a specific mechanism driving this satisfaction. Visitors actively engaged in disciplined, communal manual labor alongside monks, rather than relying on passive consumption. This expectation disconfirmation proved that perceived restorative efficacy relies heavily on deliberate action and discipline, not on passive indulgence. The World Cup trial uncovered a massive, unaddressed demographic hunger. International visitors were actively seeking restorative outcomes to combat routine stress. Traditional touristic consumption focuses on sightseeing and collecting external experiences. The trial participants gravitated toward the exact opposite: cognitive silence. High rates of modern burnout had established a latent global market that placed a higher value on mental emptiness than physical luxury. The structure of the monastic routine effectively organized the tourist experience. Visitors participated in synchronized morning practice, anchoring their days with strict, predictable rhythms. Enforced intervals of quietude, integrated directly into the daily schedule, facilitated significant, measurable reductions in psychological stress. These structured, ancient rituals provided a crucial missing framework for modern minds struggling with chronic cognitive overload. Following the initial trial, the program experienced explosive growth. It expanded rapidly from 33 initial sites to over 140 participating monastic complexes. As volume increased, institutional leadership identified a core threat. There was intense pressure to commodify the services by adding commercial comforts, which would dilute the restorative experience. Leadership responded defensively. They rigidly maintained the traditional austere protocols, refusing to soften the structural integrity of the program to appease mainstream hospitality trends. The long-term survival of heritage-based wellness relies entirely on resisting the urge to cater to expected commercial comforts. The record of the 2002 emergency response demonstrates that crisis-driven logistical innovation often unexpectedly reveals hidden human psychological requirements. Institutional resilience reaches its peak when developmental solutions directly align with psychological needs. This dynamic turns temporary logistical fixes into permanent systems for human restoration.